Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to take a little stroll through the garden, kind of give you a state of affairs of what it looks like right at the end of October. We have our first freeze on the forecast 2 nights from now, and then the night after that it goes down into the low 20s. So we're just going to abruptly go into the cold temperatures. We still have coleus and begonias and supertunias and things looking beautiful, but a lot of the garden is looking tired. So we just want to show you where we're at. So we wanted to start right back here behind the Hartley because Pedro and his crew have been working on the brick outlining of this area, and they're on their lunch. So I didn't want to be in their way or make them feel uncomfortable, but they're doing a beautiful job. So right here is where the bricks ended, and what they've done is they kind of cut out or dug out this area here and finished or are carrying on the brick outline. So what will happen when this is all done, the gravel instead of mulch will come down this way, so it'll be a gravel walkway that walks right in front of where this bench will be. So you've got a little inset for the bench with the 2 pots, and then we can do something really fun right in here. Either, I thought initially about doing 3 real tight, skinny evergreens, or maybe an espalier tree of some kind. I don't know, something fun. So it'll look like a little set apart from the rest of the design, but it's mirrored on the other side over here. Let's walk out this way. They've made it this far with the bricks, but they will come around. Well, you can see the outline here. They'll come around all the way to the front of the chicken coop. So this whole area will be tidied up and kind of buttoned up for the season. We might have to take a break here in a minute because it is supposed to rain. It's looking a little ominous that direction, isn't it? I can feel it already. And then over here, the bricks line the driveway. And I've been waiting for this to be buttoned up to start planting this area because I wasn't exactly sure where the bricks were going to be precisely, and I didn't want to come in and plant things and have it be odd, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm just super thrilled with this. They're doing a great job. They just started this a couple days ago, and I don't think they were even here yesterday, so they bust out projects so fast. So I'm very happy with that. Let's cruise over to the pond area. We're going to try to do this in one fell swoop, guys, no 2 tours, so we're not going to stay in any area for any length of time. But I'm just so happy with this whole space back here. We just planted this yesterday, another little evergreen, but you can see the fall tone that this is taking on. I need to bring a net out here, get some leaves off the water, but everything in this whole area is doing great. And we've just so enjoyed this space. Oh, we've had some wind. That poor plant has been knocked over. And there's the fish in there. They're getting a lot closer. Before, they would not come remotely close to the edge. They stayed way over there, kind of in the middle. And now when they see us coming, I think they think we've got food. So they come and visit. It's quite fun. We are planning, I don't know, I think we've talked about it. Haven't we talked about the Dream Stream a little bit? But we're already kind of in the works planning a stream that carries on with maybe another little pond connected to it in this area, kind of continuing this feel right here further into this space and kind of berming up the sides so that this whole back area has the same kind of wooded feel, and it feels like a connected space, like there's some cohesion in the design. But when we get after that, I'm excited about creating a vista from the Hartley doors straight back this way. I'm not sure how it's gonna all come together, but it's just something fun to dream about throughout the winter months. I'm just looking forward to that because this space, I mean, we've done some really amazing and fun and beautiful projects, I feel like, in our garden. This is the one we probably use the most already. We're out here all the time, and it's just the fire rock that we have out there. What do they call it? Faux stone fire pit. It's just nice that you can push a button and the fire comes on. It just makes it easy, and the kids love to play around the rocks. It's just been a really fun area. Anyway, let's head this way. Ooh, that breeze is fresh. I probably should have wore actual shoes maybe for this. Aaron actually wants to block off the view of the barn. I like our barn. I think it's really sweet. And I don't know, the fact that there's windows there, I always thought it'd be cute to do window baskets or something, but he would like to do like evergreens, kind of like this blue spruce, and maybe even some larger ones, and create some kind of a screen right here, which we may end up doing. It kind of depends on how the space evolves. I mean, we've started in that corner and we'll work our way this way and see how it comes together. We just did a little bit of maintenance around the chicken coop, and I've just been enjoying looking at it a heck of a lot more now that it's tidied up. I think I'm gonna move the buddleia though, you guys. We've got this Miss Ruby right in here, and it clearly loves its location, and it blooms and does beautifully, and it does shade the interior of the coop. But this whole section, it kind of looks like the same texture. It's like just a big mass of the same texture and color, and I feel like there needs to be some variation. So that might be, I think that would be easier to move the one butterfly bush than to move the 3 roses. It's just one plant we have to dig and move. So that may be something we think about doing next season. But again, all of these things, and I might watch this tour back at some point and remember all the things that maybe I can plan for this next season. We have loved this area being done as well. And you can see, I mean, the kids, we sit here in the evenings sometimes, and they just run, like not run, roll around on their bikes, around and around and around. It's so much fun. And just to see this area looking so nice and connected with the other space. We've got a little bit yet to do with boxwood planting on one side, but a lot of it is done. The pots that we ordered for the corner should be here well, are we in November? We're almost in November. They'll be here in November at some point. So even if we don't have anything in them, we can see the structure of what they look like in each one of these kind of corner cutouts. You can see our coleus is still, I mean, that's usually the first thing to go, coleus and sweet potato vine. We just haven't been cold enough. Some of it's looking tired, like it wants to be done for the season, but I've just been so thankful. This fall has been an absolute gift. It really has. We've had more time to get fall chores done. I'm gonna feel a little bit of urgency though to get the dahlias digged, to get them dug, because we'll have that one night that's 31 and then the next night's 22. So I'm gonna feel pretty pressured to get those up before the frost reaches the depth of those tubers.
What are your thoughts on these boxwoods over here?
Right here?
The mature ones.
Oh, we're trying to figure out what we wanna do in this space in terms of boxwood hedging. Because, you know, we've got the boxwoods all the way around, and the intention is to kind of box this whole thing in. So it's kind of like a living fence, but a short one. This is the only area where it doesn't really, like it doesn't meet up quite. And I couldn't decide if we box it in to here, or if we, because that would match the other side, or do we make it more like a rectangle and box it to here, which is kind of what I wanted to do because I want to be able to see the benches from that angle. But this kind of makes it weird. I liked having access to the fireplace, but we do have access right there. So do we need all of those access points? Can we tear out some of these boxwoods so that we make it more even? I don't know. We'll see. Aaron wants to take it out. He wants to take it out and box to right here. But I just want to make sure. I think it'll help once the pots are here, to see the pots in these spaces and to see how, like, maybe we don't have benches here because that's a lot. Having benches and pots and furniture and stuff all in the same space. Maybe we move the benches somewhere else. So, and he's going, yeah, you've never liked those benches. I think they're so pretty. I love those benches.
They're so perched.
Well, it makes them like, come sit on me.
No, it doesn't. It just makes them look like, stick out like a sore thumb.
No, they're really pretty. It's looking so autumn. I love it when there's leaves on the ground like this, but Paul and Bethany they keep up on the leaves like crazy. Today they haven't done a ton because we've had quite a bit of wind. In fact, I thought we might not even be able to film this afternoon because it was so windy. But usually every day they're out here kind of collecting leaves, so it never becomes like this massive chore. They just do it in small increments. But I do like a little leaf floor. It looks so cozy back in there. Fireplace area, looking very much the same. But I love it. Okay, let's go this way. So we've got lemon zest roses right here, which are putting on a little bit of color right now. Last season, like oomph. I think we may move these. At this point during the season, I just don't think they get enough sun anymore. We've got a red point maple right above them, which has grown like crazy. How many feet do you think that's grown? A lot. Yeah. A lot of feet. And I just feel like these would be happier. I mean, they look healthy, but I feel like they'd be more productive if we put them somewhere where they got a ton of sun. But you can see what color they are. I really do love that color. And I do like a simple looking flower like that too in a rose sometimes. having all the different structures. Now this one is probably the most fragrant one we have on our property. I don't even know what it is. Some type of climber. Hey, he just swiped at me. Anyway, it was here when we moved in, and I just adore it. We do have some slug damage this year, you guys. I'm guessing that's what it is, right? Or could that be earwig? I have seen a tremendous amount of slugs this year just because we've been cooler, we've been more mild, and we've had more moisture this year. I mean, my ferns are still going for it, and they're not even burned. They're usually burned by this point, and we've groomed so much of them off that you can hardly see them. So that kind of tells you, but I didn't even know lamb's ear would get nailed like that. And I haven't baited or anything like that. So it's something that I may have to do going forward if our weather stays similar. Incredible hydrangea hedge, still looking amazing. Best year for this one as well. Just have enjoyed these so much. They all look robust. Oh.
Do you leave these all winter?
Well, usually, but we haven't had this good of a year with them.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we'll leave them. If we get sick of it, we can
I
come
just
in and
can't
deadhead
remember
them.
the balls being around all winter long.
Well, it's because we never really had that many. I think this is more than we've ever experienced on these plants, for sure. This area is getting to be a little bit wild. I think we'll come in and cut back these anemones because they're just kind of, they look very windswept at this point. The leaf canopy, if you look down lower, is very pretty. But our new look Dusty Miller, again, this is a variety we started from seed, and I will do that again. Every single seed sprouted, and they were incredibly easy to take care of, and they just exploded in this area. And the Helichrysum icicles that are backing them, it was funny, for a while I thought, oh boy, I should have put those in front because these got real tall and those stayed short for a long time, but they've caught up with one another. This has been such a beautiful hydrangea. We've got a few of them around this area, but this one in particular looks the very best. This is the Enchantress Blue. When I first planted it, the blooms were very blue, but now you can see they're starting to turn lavender and pink because of our pH. But the aged flowers here, such a pretty plant. I'm going to be taking these into our high tunnel because though they're rated down to our zone, they should thrive through our winter. I feel like since they're in containers and they tend to be a little bit struggling because of our pH, I want to protect them a little bit more. So we'll put them in the high tunnel for the winter, keep them moist on the moist side, and then we'll bring them back out in the spring and hope for the best. Which way do you want to go? This way?
Let's check out the new pathway.
Oh yeah. Benjamin set up a flower store right here. He had 2 cents marked on one, and I can't remember, 25 cents on another. My mom bought them both, and then she forgot to take them last night. That's pretty cute. Okay, and then this is the pathway to the Hartley that Pedro and his crew just finished not that long ago. Oh, it's been nice. I mean, being able to come out of the kitchen, you're walking on concrete, and then you walk on stones, gravel, and then another stone path to get to the pond. Like, you're never not on a intentional area to be walked on. It's so nice. And honestly, with those roses being gone, I thought I was going to really, really miss that. These were full of the white roses, but most of them were climbers, except for the ones we dug out and we moved. Those Pope John Paul II, beautiful hybrid tea white rose. There were 3 or 4 of those. The rest were those climbing icebergs, and they didn't perform enough to make it worth trying to keep them here. They went all to Bethany's house, and they all were planted out there, even though some of them, the trunks were huge. They were really established roses. But that just opens it up in here. I think I'd like to put some kind of great big beautiful evergreen in here, maybe a few in here. This area I want to look very much more free and cottagey than this, because we have so much formality going on right here that as you go further and further away from the structure, I want it to feel a little bit more relaxed. So the same thing will kind of happen on this side. We just did a rough cut of the grass to get rid of it. So we'll come in and figure out what shape we want the grass. We have to redo the sprinklers. I'm guessing we're gonna probably take out quite a bit more right here, but it made it easy to mow and to take care of until we're ready for that. But we'll do the same kind of thing. Some more relaxed plantings in here. We'll have a pathway that leads into the Versailles garden, which I think is where we should go next, because the Surefire begonias just are phenomenal. Phenomenal. And the denim and lace Russian sage. It's still going for it. Also the sprinter boxwoods. Can you believe that? Boy, we've been on a journey with these plants. I mean, starting off, I looked back at pictures the other day, you guys, when we very first moved in. I have a picture from, I'll try to find it, from up on the balcony, and it looks down at this area and it shows this, like the area around Persephone, and they had a juga planted in there, so it looked very like full, but just kind of like, not like brilliant pop of color. And then right here, there was a grass lawn around the urn, and it was always kind of patchy and dry on one side because the sprinkler was deflected. Is that the right word? Deflected by this. So like it never reached, the water didn't reach one side of it. So we pulled that up, put these tiny little baby boxwoods in, these right here, and watched them grow through the years. And then they got mites, and then they got all splayed out from the rain. We took them back hard this spring, and they've really like given back for all those years that we put into them. I feel like they're trying their hardest to do a good job, and they look really pretty. And then of course the denim lace right behind them is just a kind of a fuss-free area that's really pretty all season. Surefire rose begonias have just been a stellar performer. They had a moment where these front ones right here that get more sun struggled just a little bit when it was 100 plus. These get more shade back here, but in the end, they all kind of like caught up with one another. They all look amazing, no deadheading, don't have to fertilize, don't have to spray. They just look like this all season. It's just crazy. And something definitely to repeat. It's hard to find those things that can handle shade and sun, a mixture of both, and still look about the same. That's pretty rare. But I've just been loving these. I will miss this in a few days when they're all done. I will miss them. This way, we've got some pretty color on our oak leaf hydrangeas. So these are the are these the Gatsby Gal? Might be Gatsby Gal. We've got a few in here. These were planted a couple years ago. We planted more this direction this year, and they are just amazing. You see that fall color kind of starts in the interior and works its way out. We've got some opalescence phlox here still with a tiny bit of color. This whole area is just kind of, it's a fun spot. There's a hybrid tea pink rose. I was here when we moved in. I think it's the only original plant from when we moved in, maybe. But I love how tall it gets because it's a perfect backdrop back there. And it is starting to pick up, the rain is, so we're gonna take a little break and then we'll come back out maybe once it's stopped. All right, well, we did get a little bit of rain and it got a lot colder. So both of us are bundled up more than we were earlier. And I think this is right about, what is he doing?
I think it's landscape fabric.
Oh, how funny. I think this is where we ended, right?
Yeah.
Before we head this way, I do want to show you the Albrido coleus up here because it's just such a phenomenal plant. I love it so much. This is about all we did for like fall/Halloween. I just wasn't in the mood to do anything real big out here, so we gave away most of our pumpkins and squash. We did quite a bit inside. In fact, the kids, we've been doing like one tub there for a while. We were doing one tub of decorating stuff per day. So the inside of our house looks like I can't bear like taking something apart after they've decorated it. So it's kind of like, except for the mantle, I did do the mantle myself, but the rest is just, it's very fun. Anyway, right up here, Albrido coleus. Honestly, one of the best, and I love the color. Now these in the Color Blaze series, they usually either don't bloom at all, because that's normally not why we want coleus, or they bloom really late in the season and very minimally. Anyway, so this one has not been in bloom for very long, and they honestly look really pretty. So there's Albrido coleus. There were some begonias in there. They might still be in there. You just can't see them. But the Dichondra Silver Falls is absolutely beautiful as well. In fact, this whole thing ended up just being foliage plants. So the Albrido, Dichondra, Pegasus begonia, and then I think that was the Medusa sweet potato vine right there. And while I did have some other things in there, those really pretty kind of rosy apricot begonias, they just kind of got smothered out by everything else. And this ended up being just a beautiful display of what can be done with foliage. Okay, now this way. Some of our trees, this is a crabapple, still have a few leaves on them. Ash tree is always the first one to color and drop its leaves. But this whole area right here has been so nice because this stone pathway right here, it helps tie the garden together. It helps, facilitate traffic. I mean, not that this part of the garden gets a lot of traffic, but you know which way to go. It's a very clear direction, and it's so nice that, you know, you can go out this way, and it connects us with an area that we use every single day, the high tunnel area. You know, and it may not always be there. That's not the intention to keep it out there, but it sure has been nice. And, you know, up here, annuals are looking a little bit tired, but this has been fun. The Stormburst Superbena, Pink Senorita, zinnias, there's Russian sage, and then the Maximilian sunflowers, was just started to bloom early October. What is he doing? He just jumped about 4 feet up in the air. He's totally distracting me right now. I can see him moving around in the, like from the corner of my eye. Supertunia Mini Vista, yellow, still looking really nice. Just completely a yellow carpet all season long. But it's really fun if you kind of look through here, and if you come out here and kind of look over the stones and the Supertunias and the flowers through the Versailles garden to the Hartley back in there. It's just a really pretty view, I think. All the different layers and the different colors and textures. Now over here, not much going on. There's just a little bit of marigold interest, and then the cosmos are about ready to be pulled. So most all of that has been cleared out. So let's go over to the west side before we head to the south garden. Aaron said we should go in the high tunnel. I'll show you what's in there. Not a whole lot. Marigolds, weeds, cosmos, and a few plants. We've got some roses. These are new ones for 2024. I haven't had a chance to put in the ground yet. There are some Pegasus begonias. We'll be moving to the greenhouse here shortly. These are the Invincible Sublime hydrangeas. I need to get those in the ground. Euchemis, pineapple lilies. And then there's some heucheras, heucherellas, sedum down in there and over here. Just a few last minute things. And these boxwood are for the brick patio area. So I snagged those when I could, because we can't always find 5-gallon boxwoods, and I kind of want them to all match size-wise. Okay, now the west side. All right, guys, so we're going to start right here by the raised bed garden and then just work our way down the west side as we approach the south garden. Do you want to tell everybody what you just told me about the lavender?
No.
Why not?
You know what? Okay, in my defense, that lavender right there is, it's held back.
It is held back, but it already was, prior to the melon plant smothering it a little bit, but it didn't die. So I'm thankful for that. This is a Sweet Romance lavender we planted years ago. We did not shear it back mid-season, so we will come in probably this winter and cut it back. We cut our lavender pretty much all the way back. I've done a video about it before, which is kind of against all professional advice you see about cutting back lavender, but I don't like lavender when it gets a big woody base on it. I think they start to look scraggly and dry and kind of unkept looking a little bit. So I prefer, not that ours doesn't right now, but I mean, it didn't a little while ago. It's been through it the last little bit, but anyway, I just feel like it stays tidier and a little bit more fresh if you cut it all the way back. But I can't believe here we are so close to November, and we've got Supertunia Vista Jazzberry, Carolee Petite Pink Gara. There is a Supertunia, why can't I ever remember it? Is it the Mini Vista Pink Star? That's not a Mini Vista though, right? Raspberry Rush? That's not pink enough, right? I don't know. It's a stripy petunia. It looks really pretty. We've got the Sparkling Amethyst Superbena in there, and they're just amazing. I have a dill plant that's self-seeded in here, and I thought it was real pretty. The pollinators have really liked it, so I left it. In here in the raised bed garden, we recently planted garlic. You can see how it's doing. Most of it has emerged. We have it in 4 beds in here. Other beds that have been cleared out, like this one does not have anything in it right now. I'm gonna probably come in just with some mulch and kind of tidy up everything in here after we come in and clean out these cosmos. We've got more garlic here. I noticed one of the cats kind of messed up my soil right there, so hopefully that doesn't, I don't really want to dig around in there. So hopefully that doesn't hurt the garlic. I do really enjoy this right here. This is the Cedar Rapids False Cypress, a new one from Proven Winners next year. They get huge, but I thought it would be real fun to use. I have 5 of them in containers right now, but to use them in containers and then plant them out next year. But I think it just looks so crisp and fresh with the white pansies. So simple. I love that. Bachelor's buttons, still rocking, looking really good. These are a cool season flower, and they are beautiful. We seeded these by seed midsummer. And then we've got some monster carrots, you guys. The kids come out here and they have a big time pulling them. I've been looking at one on the edge here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it out, but like, okay. There's one in here that's bigger than that. I planted these in the spring, but I still use them. I come out here and get these big carrots, and then I just cube them up, like dice them up, chop them up real small, and we roast them, and they're delicious. They're awesome. I'm gonna give some to Bethany probably to give to her horses. I really want this one to come out right here. Oh, that one's all short. I thought that was going to be much bigger. Dang. Always uh-oh. Did you get Russell? Always an exciting thing to do. There's more garlic in this bed here. And then we've got some Didiscus, which is about ready to bloom. Right there. I had a hard time with it germinating. It's a cut flower. Then we've got some Oregon sugar pod peas just looking very fresh. Okay, moving this direction. Hey, Russell. Everything's just looking very fallish over here. The Surefire white begonias, still looking amazing. I mean, they're covered with leaves from the Red Point maples, but you can still see them peeking above all the boxwoods, looking so beautiful. And there's still blooms on a lot of the roses. These are the Royal Jubilees right here. And we'll do some perennial cutback in this area. These are the Anik Rose. Oh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. But see, I can already tell by looking right here, I need to get some purple asters. I've got some Stokecia. That's a type of aster, right? They bloom earlier in the season. I need some later blooming stuff in here. We've got Mary Rose David Austins right in here. Brandywine Viburnum with the pretty blueberries. Look at that. The one out in the south garden, I'll show you, that one looks even better than this one. Oh, this is the Sugar Shack button bush. Isn't that amazing? I love the foliage. I mean, the foliage is downturned now, but you know, in the season it's much more like strong and it doesn't like look like it's kind of wilting down, but the leaves are broad and they're bright glossy green. And then all of these little balls right here, those are the white blooms, and then all the leaves are starting to turn red. So it's just turned out to be such a wonderful little shrub to have right there. You can look across and see the fountain still going for it. My goodness, look at the sky over there. That's what just went over us and gave us just a tiny bit of rain. What did Tempest say? 1/20th of an inch? We'll take it. This is looking pretty. We have a limelight hydrangea with some sedum, salvia with a little color, yarrow with a little color. There's a few little daisies. These are the Daisy Mays right here. And then the Royal Jubilees. That one's not as pretty looking as these look a little more fresh down in there. Love the color of those so much. And then Aaron and I just came in yesterday and planted these boxwoods in either one of these containers. So we have a little, you know, the amount of sass that comes from you, Aaron, about the pathways.
Walking down the path.
It's like a car wash. Just clean you up. Really nice. Okay, look at this. Oh my goodness. Well, first off, we've got the Poet's Wife Rose in here, which you can see that buttery yellow, so pretty. And then Supertunia Vista Jazzberry, Play in the Blue Salvia, backed by the Instant Karma Elderberry that has all the berries back in there. And that's a Black Cat Pussy Willow, which is just an absolutely phenomenal shrub for the winter time. Like January, February are the peak months for that one. Truffula Pink Gomphrena, I can smell it just standing here. It's such a stinky plant, you guys. But it is pretty. It performs really well. We have a little patch right in here. I remember it struggled a little bit early in the season, and now it's struggling again. And I wonder if maybe we have a water issue right there, because everywhere else, it just...
Well, I've had the water off for a little while, so maybe it's actually a dry area.
It could be, yeah.
It's either too much or too little. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. But the Diamond Frost Euphorbia in there actually held its own. When I planted it in there, I thought, oh boy, that's kind of maybe a waste of a plant, putting it in with a Vista Supertunia, but it has just popped through and looked great. I love the Steel Blue Angelonia. That's that lavender flower. We can see it a little closer right over here. I'm going to be using more of that. There's just such a softness to it, and it has just performed all season long, and I like the height of it. There are some hollyhocks back in there, looking nice. Douglas is just all over Aaron, like this whole time, you guys. He's just rubbing all over Aaron's legs. Douglas. And then it ends off here with some Stormburst Superbena and Black-Eyed Susans. And then that, I don't know if you guys remember when I planted that Alaskan cedar, that is a green arrow. It gets like 40 feet tall, but only 3 to 4 feet wide, which I had to be very careful with what I put back here, because obviously it's nearby a bunch of infrastructure. So I wanted something evergreen, but something that didn't, take up too much space, and that one was perfect. The hayracks are gone, probably noticed that. Paul and Bethany got those down like lickety split and cleaned the fence and everything. So everything's stored, and we will be bringing everything out again next year. We'll probably do something similar to what we did this year. It was really fun to test out the 2024 annuals just to see how they did, and have them isolated. You know what I mean? Like have only one variety in a hayrack. That was Aaron's idea. At first I was kind of like, oh man, that fence line is just going to look like a riot of color. And it was. There was a lot of color going on, but it was a really fun area. Okay, which way shall we go in, Aaron?
Going right here.
There's a lot of opportunities around here now with these pathways. Spartan junipers right here. I think that will really be nice for this entry area. I didn't really want an arbor here, because that to me, it's like, I'm drawn to arbors. I don't know about you guys. I see an arbor, I'm like, okay, let's go to the arbor. That's where we go in. But we have the big grass opening over on this other side, and that's kind of like the true opening to this area. So I wanted something that was like structural, but not an arbor. And I think that will do it nicely. We just planted all these iris, like 93 of them in this area. And this is the day I said they were going to get rain. Sure enough, they got 1/20th of an inch. I'll probably have to come out later today and give them a little bit more water just to settle them in. But this whole space is just starting to fill up. I do have one. This is the Saguaro cypress. And it's got a little bit of green in it, but I think it's done. My other one that I popped in the ground looks great, and I've got 2 others in pots that look great, and that just happens sometimes, so I'm going to address that later. One thing that I love in this area, well, there's several. First off, the reminiscent pink roses. Look at this on one stem. Absolute perfection in color. I love the shape of the blooms. They looked so puny when we planted them. So to see them looking, this is a great one right here. To see them looking like this now is so wonderful. Oh my. It's getting a little breezy out here. I have my microphone on kind of the inside of my jacket, but I apologize if it's a little bit rough today. This is one of my favorite things ever. Benjamin picked these out. He helped me plant them. He picked out the spot, and he has been like tending them all season. And every time he says, Mama, I remembered the name. They're lantana. He's so proud of himself for remembering about him. He comes out and cuts the flowers. It's just the sweetest thing. Okay. Shall we continue on? My word. Hold on.
Why don't you put your hair up?
Are you laughing about it? Yeah. Don't you laugh about that? Okay, this is another thing that I really love in this space, and this is the El Nino Catalpa, which is new for next year. I think they've probably doubled in size, but they get these like frilly orchid / snapdragon looking blooms that smell so sweet, like perfumey sweet. And it's something that when I first saw it, I thought, that's not gonna live here. It just doesn't look like something that's gonna live here. And I planted them when it was like 101 out, and they haven't even looked stressed, not even for a second. We've got 3 of them in this area. I think they're supposed to get 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. So I'm hoping they do that, because that would be just so pretty, especially given the fact that they were in bloom all season long, their first season in the ground. So awesome. Before we get too far, I do want to pop out here because the view into this area is pretty nice. It's Erin's Shawnee Brave Bald Cypress getting its fall color on here. Russets. And this is such a little thing, but I popped like some little ground covery thymes around. This is an orange thyme, and it just makes me happy to see it. I just want to start popping those things in. I can see this one's already starting to spread, and it just looks nice and soft. We've got ruby chip buddleias here, but I love this, like standing right in here and looking in that way. There's so many different things to see, so many different colors and textures. And this is kind of our pink purple corner. I started planting it last year because I just did not want this to become the forgotten corner. In fact, this whole side, I kind of focused on it more than other things that are more focal, just because, we tend to do that. We tend to like forget about the stuff that's in the background because you don't see it as often, but we do, even though people driving around or in may not drive this way, we drive by it every single day, multiple times a day. So to have it be pretty, I just enjoy it a lot. So we've got lots of pinks and purples. The New Dawn Salvia here, Sage Advice Russian Sage. There's a purple Veronica, that's chamomile. Ground cover chamomile right here. These have really spread out. I think I planted these in a video, so we might even be able to look back and see how small they were when we put them in. The Super Bells Pink Improved for 2024, I recommend. Super Bells this isn't the best time to show it, but I do think we have footage from not too long ago. These are usually not one that people recommend planting in the ground because they need such excellent drainage, but these have rocked the whole season up until maybe about a week or so ago. I like that they stay a little bit tidy. They were like little boops of pink, and all of them except for one. Let's pull this out and see what they've done, if I can. I planted them in their cans, the eco pots. I think they're rooted in beyond the can. Kind of interested. So there's the plant root ball. It did root out the sides a little bit. It was kind of hard to tug out. But yeah, these eco pots, they're compost ready. Like, you can toss this on your compost pile. In a wetter climate where you're getting more rain, they definitely break down a lot quicker than they do here. But I do think that helped.
I know Proven Winter says about 2 years.
Yeah, which is, I think, probably right, because that definitely more flimsy now. Like, I could crack that really easily, and I probably couldn't earlier on this season. But I do think that helped in the health of the plants because it kept a little bit of water out of their root balls. Anyway, I was really impressed by that. Let's head to the other entrance since we're out here. This is the actual opening to the area. The grass looks so good. It looks so good. I just remember when we were like marking it out and getting it planted. Do you remember that, Erin? Oh, it was so rough out here. And there are spots where I'm like, dang, we still have a lot to do, but I think we've accomplished a tremendous amount in the last couple of seasons. And the grass really does help anchor the area. It helps cool the area visually. And it gives it a lushness that no mulch or gravel could give a space. And it's nice and wide. We can bring 2 gators through here and pass each other, and there's no problem with that. Erin's smiling. Are you proud of yourself, Erin? Yeah. Good. Well, you should be. They look really nice. And all the stuff in here, there's a few adjustments I want to make, but there are a lot of things that I love about this space. So you can see that some perennials, like this is a Heliopsis, Tuscan Sun. It looks so good for so much of the season. It's looking rough now, which is, kind of expected this time of year. But there's a lot of other perennials like the Denim and Lace that still look amazing this time of year. So it's something to note and to figure out like a good balance in every one of your flower beds, because, what this gives, I want here. I want the weeks and weeks and weeks of bright yellow blooms, but I also need something in here that can pick up when this is starting to look crummy and still look good. So it's fun to learn about those new plants that can really give you something different for every season of the year. One thing I am going to take out is the Echinacea. This is the Price is White, and it just has not performed very well. A couple of these have the yellow asters disease. That could be it, one of the factors. But it always, like, it looks great, the first bloom, beautiful, but after we shear it back, it just never really does much. And then it kind of takes on this sickly look. So I think I'm going to take that out and put in something different. But the Cat's Meow Nepeta, on the other hand, we've got it on both sides here. We did not shear this back mid-season. You know, they recommend a shear back and then it blooms back, or it comes back fresh. You can kind of see, like, right here, this is the first bloom, and then the new bloom right here pushes the old bloom down. But there's still color on it, and the pollinators are just feeding on it like crazy. And this year I've been so focused on the pollinators and enjoying them so much that I didn't really want to shear it back. I just wanted to let them keep going. Let's see what the plant does. And you kind of come to find out it's not super necessary. They still look great the rest of the season, the whole season. We've got the yellow twig dogwood back in here. There's the cream veranda rose. This is one of the ones my mom and dad got in down at the garden center. So beautiful. This one's supposed to be like 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. It's a little bit bigger than that at this point. There's not two in here, is there? No, there's just one right here. It's probably three feet wide, a couple feet tall. Absolutely beautiful. I love having that just popped right in here. And then this is it's like a blue chip junior or blue chip buddleia, and it's doing really, really well.
Every single garden tour, I think you struggle with remembering which one
this is.
It's because
I can't remember what it is, for real. Did I plant it in a video?
Yeah, I think so.
I need to look that up. Like, try to remember. Weren't we talking about that yesterday? Like the things we wish we could recall?
Yeah.
What was the thing that you wished you could recall? Oh, the size of gas tank in the Ford trucks. That's right. See, we all have our things we struggle with. Yeah. I love the layering in this flower bed in particular, especially if you look down this way. Erin, you should come this way and look down. Oh, it's so pretty. We've got the Smitten Pink Super Bells, which, just like the Pink Improved, I recommend for containers or in ground. They were beautiful all season. But we've got the Rise Up Amber Nest Rose, which you can treat as a small climber or a large shrub, which you can see here we're treating it as a large shrub. I love the color so much, especially paired with what it's paired with. We've got a Procumbens Blue Spruce, which this will eventually be like 8 to 10 feet wide. So you can kind of train it to go, you know, between things. That's when it's nice to put in annuals because, you know, as these things are growing and filling in, you can have something to fill the gap, but this eventually will be out. We've also got the Back in Black Sedum, Arctic Fire Dogwoods, which I can see those red stems. I don't know if you can see them in the camera very well, but they are going to be so gorgeous right there. When all those leaves fall and we've got a little blanket of snow, oh, it's going to be good. And we leave the sedum up here and the Niagara Falls Panicum, which is a new grass, I think this year. It's been such a stellar performer. We've got Firefly Peach Sky Yarrow, the Cat's Meow Nepeta. There's Ginger Wine 9-barks in there. And our Shade Master Honey Locust, which has also put on a lot of growth. It's been amazing.
It's really tall.
Yeah. But you know, when they had leaves on them, they looked like they were like bulking out. Yeah, they're really nice. This is another area I need to make adjustments to. I need to move the Serendipity Alliums. I love this plant, but I don't know if I love it right up next to the edge of a border. In my mind, when I read that something gets 18 or so inches tall, I think, oh, that's real short. But it's really a lot taller than I think, and I really feel like that needs to be the background plant and have one other thing in front of it. I think that would look a little better. So if we even popped up 1, 2, 3, 4 of these plants and left a little bit, we can move 4 somewhere else deeper into a flower bed. But we've got a Prairie Fire crabapple in here, full of crabapples. And it has put on quite a bit of growth, but I do need to limb that up. There's a hibiscus I want to remove from this area. This is the String Theory Amsonia right here. And I don't know. I mean, it's starting to get its fall color. I don't know what your opinion on this plant is, but we'll wait to see what it does in the spring. If it doesn't perform like big time flowers, I don't know that I love it right here. I think we'll move that. There's just areas where you need to move some things and shift some things around to really like the blend of plants. Sometimes I nail it, sometimes I don't. It's kind of the way it goes. Just started filling in this area this year. There's some really neat plants in here. This one is a Miscanthus, and the seed heads were not on this when we planted it. Look at these. They are so cool. They look like fireworks, and this gets quite large. We've also got the Kodiak Fresh Dervella. When I planted these, they were just starting to show the tiniest bit of fall color, and now you can see a little bit more what they're going to do. But they're just like this nice, tidy, compact shrub that throws out yellow flowers all season long. And I like the growth habit, and I love that they give so much. When they come out in the spring, they also have a really pretty color on their leaves. We've got the Artemisia. Is it Silver Bullet? Am I remembering that right? Does that sound right?
Is it an annual or a perennial?
This is a perennial for us in zone 6, but they like full sun, they can take crummy soil, and they don't want a lot of water. So that's great. Speaking of a lot of water, I planted a bunch of coral jade sedum in here, and I think that the drip was doing a little bit too much water in here, so that they're all fine, but they look pretty crummy right now. So we need to pull up drip and adjust that for this next year. I don't think they really get that much grass over. I mean, our grass sprinklers are very efficient, and they don't really overspray all that much. So I don't think that's really a factor. I think there's just a little too many drip tubes in here. But we do have the 4 Lady Gardner roses that we dug up from around the brick patio here. They all are doing fine. Another Kodiak Fresh, some Veronica, and this beautiful pine right here. And we'll just keep working on it next season. The berries, we still have berries. Let's see what we got. Yeah, fall golds. I posted a reel of Samantha and we were out here the other day, and I filled up my hand with like half red berries and half golds, and I just said, hey Samantha, here you go. And she ate every single gold berry and then just turned around, like left my hand just full of the red berries. I'm like semi considering getting rid of all the red berries and just putting in all gold. They're so much better. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I like it. They have way more sugar
They're
content.
so good. Blackberries need some training. There's a few blackberries in there. I might have to think of something different to do in terms of staking. I think I might need to put a center wire in here to help them a little bit, because boy, I mean, you can see these are semi-trailing varieties, or I can do a better job of getting them all trained up on these right there. We have a couple of sunflowers that seeded themselves in here. Still need to do some work on the grapes, but we've been enjoying. These are the red Suffolk grapes, and they're really sweet and tasty. Let's head this way. So the cut flower garden, we're kind of winding down in some ways, and after the frost we will be winding down big time. But you can see we still have a bunch of color in here. It's been such a long, beautiful season. This area is mostly annual. Well, I think it all is annual flowers in here. There's some that self-seed and come back every year, like some of the Nicotiana, the Bells of Ireland, a lot of the pincushion flowers. What else comes up? There's larkspur, bachelor's buttons, things that just we leave out here, and snapdragons. We get a lot of volunteer snapdragons, but this is kind of a fun area. I think we're going to retool some of it and get rid of 1 or 2 rows in each section so we can widen out the walking rows, because it just gets to where, like in here, it's great for a lot of the season, but it gets to a point where you cannot traverse the rows anymore without breaking plants. The rose garden has been just such a fun project. You should show this one. The cold nights bring out some really cool colors. That's the distant drums right there. Scepter to Isle. This one is gorgeous. Where's a big open one? What is this called? This one is the Sweet Mademoiselle. Right here. They open up huge, like 2 or 3 times this size. And then, we added the 4 benches this season, which have been so nice because, the kids and Aaron and I, we come out here and walk around almost every single evening, and we end up using the benches sitting here and just enjoying it. And it's fun to have them here before we decide what to put in the center. And I think in my mind, I can see what I want here. It's going to be a water feature of some kind. But I need to make sure it stays low, and it can't be too fancy out here because this isn't a super fancy space, and it's got to match the flower shed. The flower shed is what I want to be kind of the focal, so this needs to kind of complement it and not take away from it. And I think I know what I want, but it's gonna have to probably be a custom thing. I don't know that I can get like a bowl how I need it to be. So we'll see what happens there. This we're working toward being a perennial section. So you know we've got foxglove, which are just amazing. Started all of these from seed this year. Oh my. Seascape strawberries. They're still rocking. Samantha and I came out here the other night and picked a whole bunch. But strawberry plants usually last, they kind of peak at years 2 and 3, which this is the second year for these. I want them to peak and then we'll remove them, and I want to build a raised bed maybe along the length over there that's like this high so that we can work on our strawberries, harvest our strawberries standing up instead of having to be bent down the whole time. I think that will make it so much more pleasant in the long run. And then everything else in this space, I want to have rows of foxglove and rows of echinacea. Started this from seed as well. It was super easy to do and they've been so nice. But we've got yarrow and a sea holly, rudbeckia, delphiniums. There's perennial campanulas in here. So we're just working toward that. That way we can have, like, we know this is a solid, everything in here comes back every single season. Everything in the rose garden comes back every season. This side will remain dahlias, but we are going to retool that area as well. Excuse me, Douglas. Because right now it's just it's too thick. We've got 7 rows. There are 6 that are 60 feet long, and then this one here is a 47-foot row. But as you get through, well, let me show you, let's see, like right here. I was tagging dahlias, and by the end, I was just plowing through and just breaking plants just to get the job done before it froze. But it starts looking like this, and it gets really hard to come down here and start walking through without breaking things. I don't want to have that happen. I want to have more room to work around these. I would like to put in more permanent staking, not T-posts. So that's something we'll maybe think about. It might not happen next year, but I think going from 7 rows down to 5 will eliminate 107 plants, which is good. We're not growing these to sell the blooms. We're growing them for the enjoyment of it and to show you guys the process and to give away blooms when we don't have thrips in them. So I would like to just hone it and get it to a point where we like the spacing. Maybe we try it next year with T-posts one more time, determine if we like the spacing, and then we put in the permanent posts of some kind. I don't know what kind we put in, but something different. I think that'll be good though. I'm looking forward to that. And I am going to store all these, and I think in the spring we might just do a big tour giveaway for you guys because there are a lot of repeats. I have a ton of certain varieties out here, and I kind of want to get it down to like 2 plants per variety, unless it's something I really love, like Sweet Natalie, a la mode, peaches and cream. There's a few that I would like to have a little bit more of. Paul and Bethany came out just this morning, cleaned up all the zinnias that were along this grass pathway. This is another thing I will adjust. I need to move rows in. Maybe instead of 2 rows here, we have just 1, so that we can get this grass line. This is where it's supposed to come to, so that we can get this growing and looking like the other grass pathways. It has a hard time when there's plants, you know, kind of going over the edges there. But it looks nice and tidy right now. We've got some rhubarb in here, honeyberries in these pots still, and a clary sage that seeded itself. We did a little bit of fall out here. I forgot about that. So I did do a little fall decorating outside. And this is really a sweet spot. I love being out here. And I just love the informality. Is that the right word? The relaxed nature of this whole space. It feels good. It feels kind of like home. I don't know. I love that. And the orchard has just been amazing. Orchard has been mowed. Are you going to mow it all anymore this fall?
I might mow one more time, probably just more for leaves than anything else.
Sure. Because we do have a whole bunch of bulbs in here that bloom early in the spring that are short. So that was always the plan, was to come in and make sure that it was mowed pretty short in the fall so that those blooms, the grass doesn't grow through the winter, it'll stay short. The blooms will have a chance to grow and bloom. Then as the grass grows, the taller bulbs that we have in here will come up and they can still be seen. We ended up mowing more than, like, what did you do every other time or so?
Yeah, it was about every other week I would mow at the tallest setting on the mower.
Yeah. The idea of having a meadow and having it, I mean, I love the look. They're so pretty, but they are so impractical if you're wanting to get in here and like harvest things and have it be clean. And then for us too, this year with having a thrip issue out here, I kind of wanted to keep everything like all fruit material picked up. Everything kind of tidy. We're going to tidy a lot up this fall so we don't have a lot of debris on the ground, just so that we can, that extra level of getting rid of anything that might overwinter. And then we'll start in with predatories early on in the season instead of later like we did this year. Anyway, I don't know, it just is nice to navigate out here. It's still very cooling. And I noticed toward the end of the season, you were letting it stay like maybe twice the height of the grass in the pathway. And that was really pretty. Anyway, I just love it. Some mushrooms. We were supposed to find some of these in our nature walk the other day. The kids and I, we searched forever for mushrooms. I'll have to remember they're there. All we have left is the loop out here. It's funny how like last year I feel like I really focused on perennial interest out here. I really planted a lot of perennials. And this year, I don't really think I planted a whole lot of perennials out here. It's weird how from one year to the next, you have just different things that you're focusing on. But we have some beautiful stuff in here. These are the bare root ones that we planted. They're the, it's another one I can never remember. They are a Ringo double pink rose, and they grow 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So I put them about 2 feet, maybe a tiny bit over 2 feet apart from each other, because I thought, well, if they stay on the 2 foot side of things wide, I want them to be a kind of a mass in here, and I think they will be. It's going to be absolutely beautiful because these just bloom all season long. You don't have to deadhead them. They just are beautiful, and I love the color. If you get in here, like here's a great one. Look at that throat, that deep kind of like purpley pink throat. I think that is just so gorgeous. And the petals right here are actually showing a little bit more pink saturation than they do in the earlier season, because the cold nights bring out the pink. They're just really beautiful. Okay, I'm going to kind of ping back and forth because I don't want to miss anything. But we've got the Hoopla Orchid, Viva Hoopla Orchid, or Hoopla Vivid Orchid. Yeah, Supertunia. We planted these in the hay rack, and then we of course planted these out here, and they've just been so wonderful out here. Of course, you know, they're looking a little tired now, and I can actually see, where did I just see some budworm damage? We stopped fertilizing and spraying about mid-September. So, you know, when you last until like basically November, the bugs still have a chance to kind of do some damage, but they have just been really, really nice. We've got some Twizzle Coral Penstemon. I started these from seed, and I only had a few of them make it, but I love the color. I think they're so, so pretty. The Mist Ruby Buddleia, like this is one of your favorites out here, isn't it? There's 3 on the other side we'll take a look at, but they are really nice. They fill in the space beautifully, have a lot of color throughout the season. We've got the coral berries, proud berries in here. There are 4. We planted these this year. And I think that same day I must have come in and I cut back these Stand By Me clematis, and they're looking a lot better than they did. Anyway, right behind me here, the sumacs, and these are the Cheyenne Sky, I think, Panicum. They kind of mirror the same fall color. Sumacs are kind of on their way out, but boy, they were brilliant, brilliant. As soon as they drop all their leaves, so I'm going in and I'm going to rip a bunch of them out, because they spread a little bit too much this year. So it's going to be something I need to be a little bit more mindful of. Right over here, we kind of went a little far. We did want to show this right here. There's some nice color in this bed. You know, if you look back in there, we've got that Norway spruce in the back, and then the red choke cherry. We've got the flame willow, which has kind of that yellow tone. And then this is I think it's like a blue Korean cedar right here. Just really pretty. And then these are the double play Dahlia Spirea, which are a new one for next year, showing some really pretty fall color. We have Super Bells. It was the double Twilight. Performed really well, you guys. I know it doesn't look like it now, but boy, the color on them were so pretty. And I really enjoyed it because they were that same kind of lavender mirroring the denim and lace right here. And I liked the purple on purple. I thought that was really nice. There's the Vanessa Bell rose right above those. Have that real pale yellow. Isn't that a beautiful pairing though? That lavender with that pale yellow. I mean, that's so pretty. Oh. And then the Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone is just looking so great. Even still. They've been in color for months now, like maybe August, September, and then almost all of October. We've got some Miss Violet Buddleia. which will get bigger, but I think all of those actually died all the way back down to the ground this last year. And so I cut them back, and that's all new growth this season. So we'll see what they do this next year. We've got the State of Grace rose right here. Look at that color. Oh, so pretty. I like this whole section. I like the layering and the color. We've got a totem pole panicum here. There's the black lace elderberry in the back. Nice backdrop. And then the Aphrodite sweet shrub right here, which put on a tremendous amount of growth. I can't even believe it. It's backed by some hollyhocks, which actually have stems on them with buds. I don't think they'll have time to bloom, but I think that'll be a really pretty backdrop next year when they're blooming. We've got the Sesky dwarf gold birch right here, coral berry, which honestly, like, they're producing so many berries. They're so heavy that they're weighing down. It's just like, that's phenomenal right there. I need to put a peony cage around them though, so it keeps them upright a little bit better. Skullcap, again, a great performer here. Looking amazing. We've got a Wichita blue juniper, which is a beautiful color. Look at that. It's really thickened up. I don't know that it's put on a lot of, maybe like a couple feet of growth vertically, but I think it's really gotten wider. Looks really nice. These are the Calamagrostis avalanche. Nice perennial grass with the Apollo maple that put on 4 new branches this year. It's going for it. Put on 4 new branches on this side. It's got real nice fall color though. You see that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's got fall color on the side that didn't grow.
Oh,
and
that's
still
true.
a bunch of green growth on the side that did.
And the leader is intense.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
You can see exactly how much it grew
Yeah.
from the fall foliage up to the height.
That's so funny. This is the reminiscent, or no, Rise Up maybe Lilac Days. So I need to put an obelisk around this one. I think it's a climber. Really sweet, kind of smaller lavender roses. They're really, really cute. We've got the Lemon Squeeze Penstemon right here, which I love. I think it's such a pretty grass. It's a little bit lighter in color during the season. The lemon squeeze part of it makes it, the chartreuse yellowy leaves. The seed heads are just, they're so amazing. There's our poor basket of gold alyssum. It kind of shocked a little bit and wilted. I think it'll be all right though. Just need to let it root in and come back next year. Before we go too far, Erin, can we just sneak back here? I just got to show if there is a bloom on this chestnut brown hollyhock. Yes, there is. Look at that. Look at that bloom. It's like, is it Chater's Chestnut Brown? I think is the variety. Started these from seed this year. This one bloomed. These have not yet. I'm hoping they didn't get confused. And I have like maybe a different variety right next to them. But I think that this is just so pretty. I know it's red, but it's kind of burgundy.
I'm a big fan of plants where you have to go hunt for the blooms on the ground.
You know what? It makes it interesting on the backside. Don't laugh. There's so much sass. Oh my goodness. Okay. The sumac really does have a neat structure. But all of the like the lower growth out here that's just a little bit more straight, I'm going to take all of that out and leave more of that. You can see the more original part of the tree. I'm going to leave that. So we've got more individual things going on here. And so it's not like a ground cover sumac. Yeah. So that'll probably be a project for next week. I'm guessing we'll come out here and do that. The Blonde Ambition blue grama grass right here is amazing. That's the same grass we put up above the pond. And that was the favorite of everybody that was here installing the pond. Everyone loved that grass. And it's a beauty. It really is. See, we've got some asters out here. This is what we need on the west side. We need a little bit more fall color that can kind of fill in this time of year. Blue Muffin viburnum is looking really nice. It's thickening up. It was looking really sad there for a little while. So I'm thankful to see that. Uh-oh. We got the 2, but they don't know it. Over here, Superbena, sparkling amethyst, still looking really good. We've got our hedge of Limelight Primes -1. We'll add 1 more in next year. We came in and I added 4 more not long ago just to thicken up the hedge. And I do think that will be very nice come next year to have it be a little bit more. And the hibiscus will be gone. I will probably put 2 or maybe 2 more in place of where that is. but the hibiscus, while, you know, it has pretty flowers and such, it's a little bit of a, hibiscus to me are a little scraggly looking. So I probably placed this a little bit too far forward. I should have bumped it back a little bit so I could put something in front of it to kind of mask some of that. I mean, but for a hibiscus, the older varieties used to look kind of like weeds. These are much thicker, and like from top to bottom, you can see like it's pretty thick. But it's just not the structure that I want for this space. So we got to get it moved out of here, and then we can continue on with our hydrangeas. I think that will be really nice. But there's some really nice things back in here too. We've got the blue sky Serbian spruce looking amazing. I wouldn't mind having a few more of those around. I mean, it's so pretty. There are some perennial geraniums looking beautiful with some color on them. The Senorita roses right here. Look at those. That's some amazing color right there. And the glossy green leaves. And they're not bothered by anything, which is so great. So great. There is one right here though, I think that's being kind of taken over by the geranium. So little adjustments to be made. Miss Ruby, Buddleia right here. So these are the ones that you really like. And see, the pink of this is very cool and the pink of that hibiscus is very warm. And you see those at the same time. And oh, since we like this one a little bit better, that one is the one that's going to go. And there's 3 of them in here and I think they look really pretty, really nice. But yeah, last year I came in and planted a bunch of perennials, geraniums. And then this year I just have really been focusing on a lot of shrubs this year, I feel like. A lot of shrubs, a lot of evergreens. There are some real pretty coreopsis right here. Actually planted way more than this last year and just like 3 of them came back. But they've got really pretty pinky rosy shade right there. Here's my birch. I know Erin is like itching to get in here and limb it up. But I wanted this to be more of like a hedge birch. And be just, let it do its thing, you know, unless it gets in the way in any capacity. But it will turn yellow fall color here shortly. And the bark is so bright white. It's just so pretty right here along our driveway.
Isn't this evergreen supposed to get quite large?
This one? Yeah, I think it's supposed to get like 18. So get 9 by 9 from center. I don't know that it will here. We planted another one that did not thrive. What is this one called?
Haywire?
Haywire, cypress. Yeah, good memory, Erin. This one looks good though. We'll see what it does. This is one of the roses that came from behind our fireplace, right there. Totem pole panicums, and then here's one of our favorite roses ever. These are the all dressed up rose. I always have to come and point these out. Look at this one. Oh. Such a pretty color and really a pretty growth habit. The leaves look so healthy and they're just nice and thick, and I really wouldn't mind. Like, you could continue on. Like, if I got another one for here, and just kind of like did a river of those roses, they're always looking like this all season long. They're just so beautiful. I love those. These are Desert Plains Pennisetum right here. They're huge. Oh, huge. I really like them. I think they're really beautiful. They're kind of like a disc of grass. And then we have a space, watch yourself here. There's a rose here that you can hardly see, and then there's a strap, so watch yourself. We have a little drift of Caryopteris that we actually did a little highlight video of these because, oh my word. If you want some color during the dog days and into the first part of fall, Caryopteris are amazing. Right behind you, Erin, you can show this little border looking really pretty. This is a Saffron Finch Supertunia. Can't believe we're still looking at all this stuff. Like almost November. We've got more of the Ringo double pink roses in here, just kind of peeking through. Another coral berry. You can tell which plants are my favorite. Kind of pop them here and there throughout the whole garden. More Desert Plains. This is a platinum blonde lavender, just one popped in there. It's a pretty good sized plant though. And then, you know, we've got like the Vanderwolf does have the leaf or needle cast going on, which for us it's a normal thing here in this area. They do cast for other reasons though. So if you have that happening, look into it a little bit and make sure you don't have a fungal thing going on or, you know, that sort of business, but that's not what ours are doing. And then I guess we'll end it right here with the Autumn Joycetum. we really enjoy that. Actually, this whole bed, Aaron, you and I should switch spots. Isn't this bed pretty? I need to get out of its way. Look at that. I think it's just really come along beautifully. I'm really happy with it. So anyway, guys, that's probably a super long tour. Appreciate you hanging out with me today to check out the garden, see what it looks like toward the end of October for at least the year 2023. You never know what it's going to be like, but the weather has been a gift, and we really have enjoyed it. But I am excited for things to kind of go to sleep for a minute so that we can start planning for next year too. I always look forward to that in a way. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.